Well, we're back. How's everyone doing? I hope you're doing well. We are going to be looking at a book called Agent in Place today by Mark Greaney, aren't we? All right. Now, this is the 7th book in the Gray Man series by Mark Greaney. I have read all the previous books up to this point, and I might go back and review some of the earlier books considering I just started this channel. The first book of Gray Man, I was not a thriller reader. I was not well versed in that genre. I was not well versed in just that style of writing. I found the first book, I just thought it was okay. It felt like Court Gentry is the main character of this series. He is the Gray Man. It felt like we were super gritty and super detailed and realistic in the portrayal of warfare and all that, but it felt like Court Gentry was just an absolute juggernaut, invincible, nothing could stop him in the first book. Now, I'm going to have to go back and reread it because I love this series. I love Court Gentry. I think each book, not that they're better than the other ones, but that they're just really, really enjoyable. So this is book 7. Court Gentry at this point, he is back in good terms. Spoiler, he's back in good terms with the CIA. He was a disgraced CIA special operative. And now he is a kind of a freelance assassin for hire. And he's freelanced by the CIA and he's freelanced on his own. And this is one of his own personal missions. He is hired by some expatriates, Syrian expatriates, to kidnap a supermodel who is the mistress of the Syrian president dictator. It seems like a pretty straightforward mission. It seems pretty simple, but as he goes to kidnap her and bring her to the Syrian expatriates, an ISIS hit team shows up at the exact same time. He's able to get her out, and when they get her out, they're trying to see if she knows any intel on the Syrian regime, on their movements, on the dictator, and seeing if they can get some sort of useful information from her. And helping these Syrian expatriates is a French government official, government police agent named Voland. And so they find out that she actually has a baby. And so from there, Court Gentry has to decide whether or not he's going to go get this baby in the middle of the Syrian just military might, and he's going to try to smuggle this baby out and get this baby to her. Otherwise, she's not going to say anything because she's worried about the safety and security of her baby. I like the plot of this. It's very straightforward. There's not double crosses and cutthroats and twists and turns, and it's not a story that has a ton of layers as far as just who's playing whom, and it's pretty straightforward who the sides are and what the stakes are. And I thought that for this story, it was perfect. And so I thought that the tension built, I thought that the stakes built well, I thought that the characters were well defined. I really enjoyed this book. So let's get into the grading. I give it 5. Again, this does not mean that the quality of writing is the same as Shakespeare or anything like that, but it works for the book. It's very straightforward, it's clear cut, it's not over-explanatory, it doesn't use crazy similes, it doesn't use, it's not way too flowery for the situation. It's just like the action of the book. It's quick, it's to the point, it's very clear what's going on. I think, in a sense, that's what really matters, is that you can tell what's happening in the scenes, especially the action going on. It's well portrayed, it's clear, and you're able to follow what's happening. So I'd give it a 5. This is interesting because you've got your Gray Man. You don't know a lot about the Gray Man. You don't know a lot about his personal life. You don't know a lot of his backstory. That kind of unfolds as the books continue. You find out a little bit more about who he is, but you don't know how he got to be exactly who he is. But I like his character. There's some humor in it, but he's very hardcore. You've got the Syrian expatriates who you learn about their motivations for why they're doing what they're doing. And then you've got the villains, and you've got the Syrian dictator and his wife. You've got this kind of special operative that he is kind of a mercenary for hire who just doesn't care about anything, but they all have complicated motivations. So even the people who you know are bad guys or are evil still have complications to them. They still have layers to why they're doing what they're doing. And it's not just good guy, bad guy, and then put them in a ring and see what happens. Like, there's some actual depth to the characters and figuring out why they're doing what they're doing that I thought absolutely works. So I give the characters a 5. Again, I'm going to give the plot a 5. I thought that there are situations in books where you need twists or you need turns, and in this, I thought the book was strong. I thought the book was strongest because of just how straightforward the plot was. You knew that once he got, you've got a little bit of a twist at the beginning where you realize the mission's a little bit more complicated than you thought it would be. But then once you have that, you realize, okay, we've got to get this woman's baby or else she's not going to be able to talk. And from that point on, you've got your mission. You've got 2 situations going on. You've got one that's happening in Paris. You've got one that's happening in Damascus, Syria. And these are your two set points, and that's what it is. You've got your story. You have the rising action, the rising tension. Both of these are going towards their climax, and then you've got the end. And I thought that it delivered on all points. I enjoyed the ending. I would say the ending felt a little abrupt. I would have. There are a couple things I would have liked to have seen differently, but the world's not perfect, so the ending wasn't all cookie cutter like I might have liked, but that was okay. I thought it was very satisfying, but it was a little quick. I'm still going to give it a 5 because I thought that the plot just worked. It was solid. You could follow it. Let's move on. Again, the purpose of the book. The purpose of this book is to have a fast, intelligent international thriller. It read very quickly. There literally were a couple nights where I had to make myself go to bed. I was up too late. I needed to go to bed so I could get up at a decent time, and I would have liked to have kept reading. And so in that sense, the purpose of the book, I thought it absolutely nailed it. It's to have a fast, enjoyable action read, and it was all of those things. So I'm going to give it a 5. And finally, did I like it? Well, if you can't figure out from everything that I've been saying, yes, I absolutely liked this book. I really enjoyed it. It kept me reading. It kept me going. I wanted to find out what would happen. And I'm interested in the next book. I'm giving it a 5. So obviously you can do the math. If it got 5 out of 5 in all 5 categories, we're going to multiply it by 4. It's 100. Do I think this is a perfect book? Do I think this is the best book I've ever read? No. But for what this book is, for what Greaney is trying to do, I think he succeeds in all areas. And it might still might not be the book for you, or you might really, really enjoy it. And I'd say just check out the Gray Man series, period. But I really enjoyed this book. And I would say, again, I need to go back and read the first book. But after the first book, 2 through 7, I've really, really enjoyed those books. There have obviously been a couple books that I like more than the others. But I think he knows what his point is. I know he knows what the goal is in each book, and he delivers it. And I think the writing's gotten better. I think obviously I think they're making a movie now with Ryan Gosling and Chris Pine for Netflix. So obviously he's hitting his mark. People are really enjoying it, and I'm one of them. So check out the book, read out of your comfort zone, try different things. As always, my name is Mark Taylor. Keep reading, and you're more valuable than you could ever imagine.